welcome to my channel Lecture Notes. So today I'll be explaining a novel, Arjun, which is written by Sunil Gangopadhyay. In last video, I've explained chapter 1, and in this particular video, I'll be explaining chapter 2, only part 1, that is nearly 20 pages of chapter 2. So in the last chapter, we saw that Labanya entered Arjun's room, and what she saw was that he was covered in blood. He was extremely wounded. And in chapter 2, he wakes up in the hospital where he is telling that he still remembers thing. And because of the wound on his head, he has not lost his memory. So he's giving his introduction in first two pages. My name is Arjun Ray Chaudhary. My father was a late Kitty Mohan K. Chaudhary. My elder brother's name was Somnath, and my mother. No, one should not never utter one's mother's name. A mother's name is just that mother. That is what we were taught in our childhood. So clearly, here women are double marginalized because they are female. So that's why they have not given any identity. His sentence that I should not utter my mother's name clearly shows that women are not given any status or identity in that particular era. My mother cannot switch off the lights before going to bed. She is scared to walk the distance from the switch to the bed in total darkness. Now, in this situation, it is shown that how she is also dependent on others and she remains very scared and petrified figure in this particular chapter. My name is Arjun Ray Chaudhary. I am 25 years old, perhaps 26. I finished my MSc exams about 2.5 years ago. I live in Dum Dum in the Desh Pran colony. Our house is called the dance hall. Three lizards live in my room. One of them is really strange creature, black and white stripes all over. I smoke very little, and yet Shukla presented me with a lighter. Now, where can I have kept it? Where? So he is now giving the details, trying to show that how he remembers things that what he was doing before this incident exactly, and what are his habits like smoking. And Shukla is one of his friends. My brother used to be an extraordinary gentle person. So now, in 3 to 4 pages in the novel, he has dedicated it to his brother, whose name is Somnath. And I have given one particular slide for Somnath in case there is a character sketch upon him. So here, from here is the detailing about his brother. My brother used to be an extraordinary gentle person, very, very simple. Everyone thought he was crazy and they used to make fun of him, calling him a lunatic. That's what really drove him. He never did anybody any harm, just used to wander around by himself, sometimes talking to himself, sometimes to birds and animals. But what is wrong with that? So, from the introduction of his brother, he tells that he is not a normal person. He is different mentally, but he is an extraordinary positive person and he's never rude to anyone. He's very simple creature. He not only talks to people, but he also talks to animals. So he then gives us an incident where his poor brother was tortured by handful of boys. So group of boys torturing my poor brother. They surrounded him and pulled all his clothes off. I couldn't check my tears at the sight of him, so pitiful, so helpless. But I could not do anything. Children can be so hard to control. If even their elders were standing around grinning, hesitated of trying to stop them. Of course, it is hard to stop children when they get carried away by the exhilaration of particularly cruel sport. And one can be terribly cruel in childhood. Didn't I myself find pleasure in pulling the wings of dragonflies? So he's telling that though, because his brother was weak, so he was kind of tortured by the surrounding people. And in this particular incident, Arjun, as well as the elderly people standing near them, did not help Somnath, the brother. And when my brother really went mad, I could do nothing to provide for his treatment. Only rich people should lose their sanity, for it is an expensive disease. So now he's telling that rich people can afford these mentally disabled things, but we poor people, we are hardly able to earn bread and butter. So these kind of diseases are really expensive for us. So towards the end, my brother would keep saying to me, let's go back home. Don't you know India and Pakistan have become one country again? Gandhi has fixed everything. He has managed to patch up all our differences. And in reality, Gandhi had been assassinated 14 years ago. I can still see the scenic vendetta. So here I has been referred to Arjun, and my brother is Somnath. So Somnath is stuck in past. He is not able to grow, and as a result, he believes that one day India and Pakistan will be one country, and everyone will be like brothers and sisters. But the reality have changed, and Somnath, the brother, is not able to accept the reality. As a result, his mind is away, and he only thinks that how the two countries will be one again, and this is not the reality. So the basic thing is, अर्जुन का जो भाई है सोमनाथ, वो एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं कर पा रहा है रियलिटी कि पार्टीशन हो चुका है, अब उन्हें यही रहना है। उसको अभी भी होप है कि वापस इंडिया पाकिस्तान एक हो जाएगा, हम अपने घर वापस जाएंगे, यहाँ पे हम टेम्परेरी रह रहे हैं, और सब कुछ वैसे का वैसा हो जाएगा जैसे पहले था पार्टीशन से। So he is living in the past and he is not able to accept the reality. And as a result, people are also not able to accept him. Doesn't insanity tend to run in the family? Grandfather Nishi says that my father wasn't quite normal either. In his youth, he would often go away from home for 3 to 4 months at a time. And when he came back, you couldn't get a word out of him or what he had been doing. So he tells that this particular trend of insanity is seen in my father also. He used to leave house for 3 to 4 months, and we had no idea that what he was doing in 3 to 4 months. Though grandfather Nishi says that he used to visit saints and tried to look what was in his past, but they had no idea where his father went and what he used to do. But at the time of partition, he also tells that before the partition, his father used to remain in the house. Why? Because he was so much anxious that if he leaves his job for 3 to 4 months, then the family will starve. And there is no guarantee that he'll get a job again or not. So, because of this, at the time of or before the time of partition, he used to be in the house. And as a result, it led to his early death because he could not escape from reality. So you can see there is a trait of escaping from the reality, which is seen in Arjun's father as well as his brother Somnath. So his father used to physically run away from situations and now the brother Somnath is trying to mentally escape from the turmoil of partition. So both have the escapist attitude. So now here Arjun is talking to one of his friends. He says that my why my arms are tied down and I really want to scratch my head. So this incident where he is again and again trying to tell people that I need to scratch my head, but he is unable to because there are a lot of bandages and he is not able to do anything. This reflects how the people of partition wants to go back to their place, but they are unable to. The helplessness of Arjun that he cannot scratch. The thing is in front of him, his head is literally within the touch of his hands, but he is not able to touch it or do whatever he wants to do. Similar is the case with the people of partition. They know where exactly their house is. They know the map exactly where their things belong, but they are not able to go back to where they lived or where they were born and brought up. So he says, but tell me, do you know why they have tied my arms down? So Arjun is asking his friend that why have they tied my arms down? Because the friend replies, because you kept trying to scratch your head all the time, you were running a temperature. But Shukla, you have no idea how uncomfortable it is if your head is itching all over and you cannot scratch it. One feels as if nothing else in the world matter. Similar is the case of the people of partition, that they are nostalgic. They have so much good past memories that they want to live in the memories and they want to go back there. But they cannot scratch it. They cannot go. So this show the basically how this is a reflection on the people of partition. So he tells that one day Arjun, I has been referred to Arjun, he killed the stork with a single shot. Stork is a kind of a small bird. So my brother was very upset about it. For quite a few days, he moped around as if he had lost an old friend. He didn't scold me though. He never said a word in anger to anyone. So this, his brother Somnath, was very patient uh, boy. He did not say anything, but he had a lot of emotions inside, and as a result, he remained sad for a few days. The poor fellow never got involved in the doings of others, nor did he ever hurt anyone's feelings. But Dibya had been convinced that he was only pretending to be abnormal, so that he would not have to do any work. A good thrashing, Dibya had seemed to think, was the best cure for this kind of malingering madness. सो दिव्या द पावरफुल पर्सन उसको ऐसा लगता था कि ये कामचोर है, इसको काम नहीं करना, तो इसलिए अब नॉर्मल एक्ट करता है ये. बट इन रियलिटी he was so much pressurized with the memories of partition that he was not able to think normally. So they forced Divya and the gang, they forced him to take a job at the one of the factory. But how could my poor brother possibly work as a factory laborer? They the forcible transition from open fields and wide flowing rivers to the dingy urban life had been bad enough for him. So वो कह रहा है कि अर्जुन ये सोचता है कि वो ओपन स्ट्रीट्स में रहता था, ओपन फील्ड्स में रहता था उसका भाई, और एकदम से क्लोस्ट्रोफोबिक फैक्ट्री एनवायरनमेंट वो कैसे ही रह पाएगा. तो उसने एक दो दिन फोर्सफुली दिव्या के कहने पे वो गया, बट दिस वाज नॉट द प्लेस फॉर हिज ब्रदर. So now, in the last stanza, Arjun is nostalgic and he's telling before partition how he used to go to school. जो हमने अपने ऐसे दादाओं टाइप की कहानी सुनी होगी कि हम तो इतना चल के रिवर क्रॉस करके फिर स्कूल तक पहुंचते थे. सो ये बेसिकली वैसी काइंड ऑफ कहानी है कि उसको एक बेसिकली एक रिवर क्रॉस करके जाना पड़ता था बोट्स के थ्रू. पर अगर रिवर का फ्लो ज्यादा हो जाता था और बोट्स नहीं मिलती थी, तो यूज टू रिमूव हिज क्लोथ्स नियर बनियन ट्री एंड देन ही यूज टू क्रॉस द रिवर while swimming. So school was 3 miles from home, a daily walk for us. But the monsoon submerged everything in water. Boats were the only answer then. We could not afford our own boat. So I could start early from home and wait under the big banyan tree. Some days there would be no boats. Then the only thing to do was to undress behind the banyan tree, wrap your books up in your clothes, hold the bundle over your head, and with one hand swim across. So the real hindrances was these. And he tells that he never used to miss school because his brother failed twice. As a result, his father took him off from the school. So उसको ये डर था कि अगर मेरे नंबर कम आए तो मेरे पापा भी मुझे स्कूल से निकाल देंगे. So he used to go daily and he was one of the toppers of the school. So now he's telling one of his college incident कि ऐसा नहीं था कि वो स्कूल में ही मिस नहीं करता था, वो कॉलेज में भी सेम पर्सन था. He never used to miss one class. So usually I never went out of the house on the morning of Holi, but on that particular occasion I remember having to go out in the afternoon. A group of non-Bengalis drenched me with their colored eyes. At that time I possessed only that one shirt and had nothing else to wear to college the next day. So you'll see in the this and next paragraph that how he has dedication to go. कि वो होली के कलरफुल क्लोथ्स में भी कॉलेज चला गया, लोगों ने उसका मजाक उड़ाया, बहुत कुछ उल्टा सीधा बोला, बट उसकी डेडिकेशन थी कि हाँ मुझे एक भी क्लास मिस नहीं करनी है. So there was never any question of buying another shirt for myself, and I was stubborn too. I went along to Presidency College wearing that multicolored shirt, but I could not wear the desired smirks of my fellow students. Tears of rage and shame blurred my eyes. Haranda later took pity on me and gave me an old shirt of his the next day. So these lines show his dedication as well as his poverty. कि उनके पास एक ही शर्ट थी, उसके भाई से भी वो एक्स्ट्रा कोई था नहीं कि वो सोमनाथ से या बोरो कर ले या किसी से भी कुछ बोरो कर ले. उसके पास एक ही शर्ट थी और वो उस डेडिकेशन और पावर्टी में भी कॉलेज गया. So now you'll see that first he talks about his school, which is before partition era, and now he talks about his college, that is after partition era. So he is nostalgic. तो बीच में past की भी बात होती है और present की भी बात होगी. The headmaster of our school, again pre-partition era, was a man called Amjad Ali. He was well known and respected throughout the whole subdivision. I was one of his favorite, but his son hated me with a passion. He was a couple of years older and frequently found reasons to beat me up, but I could never understand the reason for such hatred. I remember having two possessions which were extremely precious to me. One was red and blue pencil, and the other a silver harmonica. So he tells now the pre-partition era कि उसके गांव में जो वो स्कूल था उसका हेडमास्टर थे अमजद अली और उनका बेटा उसे बहुत चिढ़ाया करता था तो उसके पास सिर्फ अर्जुन के पास दो एक्सपेंसिव चीजें थी या जो भी उसको फेवरेट चीजें थी जो उसको किसी कजन अंकल जो नेवी में काम करते थे उन्होंने दे रखी थी ये दोनों बिकॉज दे वर सो मच पुअर दे कुड नॉट अफोर्ड बेसिक ब्रेड एंड बटर so these were extraordinary things that he possessed. So Arjun tells, I was running home from school one day when the pencil fell out of my hand. Yakub picked it up and sought, let me have this pencil. I tried to snatch it away from him, saying no, no. But Yakub raised his hand off my reach and said, if you won't give it to me, I won't let you have it either. So as a result, उन दोनों के बीच में लड़ाई उस पेंसिल के चक्कर में और याकूब ने वो पेंसिल जबरदस्ती से ले ली. Children have an intense and direct sense of right and wrong. Adults often pretend not to notice a violation of what is right, just as often as they are unable to recognize what is right. My elders did not attach any importance to my sorrow over losing that pencil, but I could not forget it. तो ये इंसिडेंट के बाद वो अपने पेरेंट्स के पास जाता है अर्जुन की मेरी पेंसिल उसने ले ली. वो गांव के हेड्स के पास जाता है जिन जिन ओल्ड पीपल को वो जानता है बट nobody says anything because this is the situation of Hindu and Muslim. So they didn't want any kind of fight कि छोटे बच्चों की फाइट में बड़े लोग इन्वॉल्व होंगे तो it can turn out to be a riot. So people were like, forgive it and forget about it. Don't think about it. So not a single person, whether it was his friend, family, or the neighbors, tried to help him. I hunch so the next day he went to school and the headmaster or the father of Yaqub asked a question and nobody answers in the class. And Arjun, being the super intelligent child, Amjad Ali asked him. But he shows attitude and he says, I don't know, I don't want to give answer, I don't want to have any conversation with you. So this is that incident. I hunched my shoulders and said, I don't know. Every boy in class knew as well as the headmaster that the word was nothing to me. Why I never made a mistake, even the spelling was like conscious or hygiene. The headmaster stared at me in the amazement. Can't spell this word? Why didn't you try? No, I won't. He walked up to me, pushed my chin up with one finger and said, why you won't answer? So in the end, he is not giving answer. The teacher is frustrated and he himself is Arjun is frustrated because nobody does anything for him when this incident occurs. So in anger he says, why should Yakub take away my pencil? So to which Amjad Ali announced the boy, referring to his boy, that is Yakub. He says, this boy Yakub is not only a thief but a liar. He lied to me at home. It is more of a sin to lie than to steal. He should be punished. Arjun, you come up and box his ears. So this was one of the extreme thing that the teacher said Arjun to do, which he had to do. But the whole village hummed with the news. In 1955, it was a terrible matter for a Hindu boy to box the ears of Muslim boy. For 7 days, our family packed with fear. For 7 days, he did not go to school and he was not allowed to go to school, as well as the family was living in constant fear that maybe some Muslim will come to the house and they will say few words or they will burn the house and something extreme can happen. After the last incident in school, I was walking home one day when Yakub, along with 4 or 5 other boys, waylaid me and took away my pencil, my harmonica, and my books. They also told me that if I reported this to Amjad Ali again, then my parents would find my body in the jute fields. All those boys boxed my ears so hard. Sorry, it's not cards, but ears. So hard that they turned red. They also took care to inform me that it was a great pleasure for them to treat a Brahmin son in this fashion. So again, the reference to caste was there. So they not only give the धमकी कि आज के बाद अगर उसने किसी को बताया तो उसकी काइंड ऑफ डेड बॉडी मिलेगी, उन्होंने ये भी इंश्योर किया कि हमें बड़ा मजा आया एक ब्राह्मण की ऐसे पिटाई लगा के. सो इन एट द टाइम ऑफ 1955 वहां पे कास्टिज्म स्टार्ट हो चुका था एंड द हिंदूज वर लिविंग इन वेरी मच फियर कि कुछ बुरा भी हो जाए तो बोलना नहीं है, क्योंकि बोला तो कुछ बड़ी ही चीज हो जाएगी, राइट्स हो सकते हैं, फाइट्स हो सकती हैं. तो दे वर लिविंग इन, दे न्यू व्हाट वाज राइट बट दे वर नॉट एबल टू टेक अ स्टैंड फॉर इट. So they decided that all the village people decided that I was not to be sent to school for a month. They also told me never to talk about this to anybody. It is quite easy to force a little boy of 11 to stay at home. So उस इंसिडेंट की वजह से उसे 1 महीने तक घर पे रहना पड़ा अर्जुन को अनविलिंगली. दो nobody took a stand, they knew what was right for him, but उसके लिए कोई उस टाइम पे स्टैंड नहीं ले पाया because of the religion clash or the caste clash. So thank you for watching this video. In the next video, I'll be explaining the remaining chapter.